Today, we're diving into a fundamental shift in how we actually use the internet. I mean, imagine for a second, if your browser didn't just find answers for you, but it actually took action on your behalf. Well, that's the whole promise behind a new kind of tool, the AI native browser. And we're going to look at one today that could seriously change everything.
And that's really the big question, right? Right now, we do all the work. You're the one clicking, comparing, piecing all this information together from different tabs. But what if your browser just understood your goal and handled it for you? Let's see how close we actually are to that reality.
So, you might be thinking, okay, another browser to compete with Chrome or Safari. But no, this isn't just another competitor. We're talking about the start of an entirely new category of software. So what does that actually mean? Well, think of it like this. An AI agent is baked right into the core of the browser. It's not an add-on, it's fundamental. And it's designed to figure out what you're trying to do and then go beyond just showing you web pages to actually taking action for you. Okay, so the most immediate, obvious use case here is turning your browser into a kind of AI personal assistant. You know, all those small, time-sucking tasks that just fill up your day? The idea is you can just delegate them.
So once you connect it to your calendar and your email, you can just ask it to prep you for your first meeting. And boom, it instantly pulls all the details, maybe suggests some talking points. You can have it draft email responses for you. And the people using it say it's very, very fast at getting these simple but honestly crucial tasks done.
All right, scheduling is one thing, that's cool. But what about a complex, real-world business task? Let's really test it with a prompt that needs research, some analysis, and creativity. We're telling it to research the company Ramp.com, come up with marketing improvements, and then draft an outreach email to their co-founders.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The browser doesn't just do a search. No, it autonomously goes to the website, it starts analyzing the company's marketing, and it even correctly identifies the co-founders, Eric and Kareem. Then, it actually composes a professional email with specific, targeted recommendations based on everything it just learned. And the final output? It was described as a solid email. But let's pause on that for a second. It figured out who to send it to without being told. See, most AI tools can read and summarize information. This one, it read, it synthesized, and then it wrote something entirely new. It created a valuable business asset from just a simple prompt. So this ability to synthesize information, not just find it, makes it an absolutely incredible research partner. We're moving beyond just finding facts here and into the realm of, deeply understanding content. One of its most powerful features is being able to summarize any web page you're on. And I mean any page. Articles, long reports, even entire YouTube videos. You just get the gist in seconds.
For example, someone pointed it to a YouTube video about a marketing concept called vibe coding. It doesn't just give you a transcript, no, it delivers an instant summary that actually outlines the core strategy and tells you who the ideal customer is. I mean, if you're a salesperson doing research, can you imagine? This is a massive, massive time saver.
And get this, it can even synthesize information across multiple open tabs. So imagine you're shopping for a bike. You've got 3 different websites open. You can just ask the browser, hey, which one of these will ship to me the fastest? And it'll cross-reference all 3 pages to find you that single correct answer. It's pretty wild. Okay, so all of these features are really cool, but they're all pointing to a much bigger idea. The real revolution here isn't just about getting information faster. It's about closing that gap between knowing something and actually doing something with that knowledge. So let's go back to that vibe coding video. The user watches it, they get the general concept, but then they ask a question just using their voice. Okay, how can I use the advice in this video for my business, a landscaping company in Ohio? And this right here, this is the paradigm shift. The old way? You'd watch a tutorial, you'd take notes, you'd brainstorm, and then you'd have to go and manually try to apply it all. The new way is just asking the browser, how does this apply to me? It takes that general advice and instantly makes it specific and actionable for your situation. And this is it. This is the whole ballgame. This is what it means to transform the internet from a passive library of information into an active partner. You're no longer just finding answers. You're getting help to immediately take action. You can go from learning a concept to applying it to your business, all in a single conversation.
Now, when you have power like this, it's going to have massive implications. We're not just talking about a single product anymore. We're talking about the beginning of a whole new technological race. Perplexity might be an early mover here, but they are not going to be alone for long. You know Google will have to respond with a totally reinvented Chrome. OpenAI is expected to jump in too. The browser is the new battlefield, and this time the winner won't be the fastest search engine, but the most effective action engine.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. After years of things being relatively quiet, the browser wars are officially back, and honestly, the stakes have never been higher. And all of this leads to one final, kind of fascinating question. As these AI agents become our main way of navigating the internet, what happens to websites themselves? I mean, are we entering an era where the most important thing isn't how a site looks to a human, but how clearly it presents its information for an AI to act on? That is the future we are just starting to build.